Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Coming to you from the beautiful Queen's Park, Savannah. Every now and then, I take a break and I come here to do some thinking. Sometimes to do a video. And I was thinking today how I haven't seen my parents for almost 2 weeks. Good night. And I am somebody that spends a lot of time with my family, with my parents. And I haven't seen them for about 2 weeks. And my father called today and he's disturbed because he's not happy. I mean, they're accustomed to seeing me, and like all of you, I am not pretending in any way that this is only my problem. I am not pretending that in any way. This is a shared situation that we're all going through, and a lot of people in the world going through as well. And it's such a crazy situation. We did a video here a couple of weeks ago, and the problems that we were facing then have all been pushed to the side. I'm across the road from the $106 million spent on President's grounds, wasted on President's grounds. And that seems like a whole lifetime ago. Everything that we're doing with that, all the court matters that happened and are ongoing because of that, that seems like a whole lifetime ago. And at some point, we lost control of humanity. We turned a corner somewhere around, you could say February 2nd, 2020, because it was escalating today. You could say March 1st. We turned a corner and all of the conversations in the world are about, what's that, Philip? Good evening, gentlemen. Everybody's conversation now is about survival. Human beings are now human beings' greatest threat. These two guys who just run past there and heal me out, normally that'll be a bounce at the very least. Now we're watching to see if you're 3 feet or 6 feet away. And things come into my mind, to questions that need answering, because, good evening. All is well. Things that need answering, like the last case. I have this thought in my mind of the last case, because this new normal that we're living now will be until supposedly there's no more coronavirus. But I was alive when AIDS became a thing, and I was alive when herpes became a thing, and I mean those are sexual diseases. Good evening, ma'am. Those are sexual diseases, but they never left. Herpes never left. AIDS never left. And we learn to live with them, to manage them. I know at least 2 people who are successfully managing HIV for decades. So when do we get to the last case? When do we get to no more coronavirus? I wanted to post on Facebook today because I stopped in St. Christopher's gas station and they have sinks. The latest thing is sinks. Everywhere you go now, there are sinks and soap. And I was washing my hand in the middle of the day in a gas station with soap and clean water in a clean environment. And I was thinking to myself, as somebody I bathe 2-3 times a day. I'm very much into cleanliness. So some of the things that came from COVID-19 are a blessing. I'm happy that I could wash my hand in the middle of the day at a gas station. But I'm sad. I'm sad that every time I go near someone that I love or care about, I can be putting them in danger. And that the world that I know, like the world that you know, is shrinking. Human contact has become dangerous to you and to the people you love. I go back once today to change 2 lights. I'm dealing with the guy there, the manager. I have the receipt in my hand. I have the 2 lights that I'm going to change. I know I got the receipt from Kaifa. I got the 2 lights in the boxes from the electrician. I'm handing the 2 boxes and the receipt to the manager back on things. And things that I used to never take, things I used to take for granted before. All the hands that touched this and all of the things that they touched before, and you're conscious, you're hyper aware of everything. There was a lady in Massey stores yesterday, and she was shopping with a little girl named Gracie. And Gracie's a little, I don't know, 4 or 5-year-old girl. And like any 4 or 5-year-old children, life is a happy place. And Gracie is walking through the grocery like any child would walk through the grocery and touching this and touching that. And I am in an aisle. This is how I know Mom and Gracie. So I'm hearing Mom talking to Gracie because you hear things happening. But what struck me was when she was walking behind me. See what I just wiped my face with? When she was walking behind me, she said to Gracie, this is how I know the child's name, "You need to stay far from other people, Gracie." Now I'm not paying attention to her, but I'm thinking, Gracie is walking through the store and she's touching all these things that all these other people touched. Stranger danger is leaving its fingerprints, and on some things it lasts for days. But I can't tell everybody what to do. I go to the Creole restaurant today to get lunch. I've been buying Creole food from the same Creole restaurant for 30 years. Cindy Lal, good evening Cindy, who manages the store now. She started off there years ago. My son, a big man, she knows Josh since Joshua was a toddler going there for lunch. So Joshua literally grew up inside that store. And today I went there and they're all there with their face masks. The place that my son grew up in, we would pull up, we'd get lunch, we'd sit down, we'd eat, we'd talk to whoever's there, and life would just go on. But now there's a sign on the door that when you come in, turn right, and as you turn right, there are tables laid out that made a new aisle because there's no more sitting, and every couple feet along the wall, there's a sign that says, "Please stay 3 to 6 feet from the person in front of you." So this Creole restaurant is the kind of restaurant where, especially on a weekend, good night gents, yeah, especially on a weekend, people would just pile in on a Sunday. and they'd pile in, and everybody would be over everybody's shoulder and looking to see what they have and shouting their order. And now we're in a line, and there's one person in front of me and then two people in front where the food is, and I'm waiting for them to work their way to the cashier so this guy could go and then I could go. And I don't like this new normal. I really don't like it. And so by the time I get there, Cindy and all the staff are in their face masks with their gloves. And Cindy's asking me questions about this and about that. I say, Cindy, the last thing I want to hear about right now is politics. You know what? For the first time, I feel like I don't care. For the first time, I feel like the politics of Trinidad and Tobago is overwhelming me. I feel like everybody's messaged me about Ian Allen. This is the first time I am mentioning this guy's name. They messaged me and say Ian Allen tested positive. I wanted to respond, for what? In jest. But I see the videos, and he is such a clown for bringing his family into his bullshit. But that's, you know what? That's his shit. I have nothing to do with me. And everybody's asking me. Debbie George has sent me 15 messages, 9 voice notes asking, do we know? Do we not know? My answer is, why do you care? Ian Allen could drop dead tonight. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't change my life. I am not a mako. If I get into politics, if I'm in a conversation about something, it's about something that matters. And the only reason I am mentioning Ian Allen's name tonight is Ian Allen was one of the 20,000 people that came into Trinidad and Tobago unchecked. And now they're sending a post about 3 places that Ian Allen went. If you went there, come and be tested. Give me a break. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. We detonated a COVID-19 bomb in this country. Nicole Rahaman Winchester, she wrote on the wall that some people politicizing this and they could lose votes. Nicole, I'm not even running for elections in this country after this. This is a real shit show that you don't understand. That you should be in uproar over the 20,000 people that came into Trinidad and Tobago without being tested. There is no more fixing this. You see the bullshit of Carnival? And I was holding them to task for the bullshit of Carnival only because I needed to demonstrate their rank irresponsibility. And that's why I was holding their feet to the fire about Carnival. And I'm watching the numbers. Now, I'm not like the Democrats in America. And I'm not, because there are people in America that seems to be hoping that 100,000 people dead so they could prove Trump wrong, which is insane politics. And I'm not getting into that kind of politics. Between you and me, I wish Rowley could succeed. Because Rowley is the Prime Minister of the country now, for whatever reason. I mean, in my view, he got there by a successful coup through Emailgate. But this is a shit show. There is nobody. Rowley appoints the people that's supposed to investigate him. This is a shit show of a country. When I put myself out there to bring this much information to the people all those years ago, it was with the hope that information would influence action. But Trinidadians are a different breed of people. Black, Indian, Chinese, white, Syrian, any kind of race, doesn't matter. We may be different colors. Some of us may have afro hair, some of us have curly hair, some of us have straight hair, some of us have no hair. Doesn't make a difference. The skin color, who we sleeping with at night, who we praying to, those things don't matter. Those things, we are united in one thing. We are a rare breed. And we are an information resistant people. Today a gentleman called me to explain to me on the phone, as one of the 20,000 people, why I was wrong. And I entertained him. And his point, Mr. Gentleman, if you're watching this video, the point that he made was, and somebody tonight, I'm just going to give you a little aside, somebody tonight said he left Trinidad, he came to Trinidad and they checked his temperature, and then he left Trinidad and they went to Canada and nobody checked his temperature. And I had to say, friend, checking your temperature for a virus that incubates without symptom for as much as 14 days is as good a measure of telling if you might have COVID-19 as is cupping your testicles in both hands to check the temperature to see if it will rain today. It won't work. So to the guy on the phone, because he's an elderly chap, which to me, and he's an intelligent guy, which to me suggests he's taken the time to track down my number. Good night. He's taken the time to track down my number and to call me. And I'm listening to him, and he's obviously intelligent. He's called to make his point. But as an elderly person, he has to know that, like everybody else who has been exposed to this highly contagious coronavirus, he is in a special demographic. Because if it incubates in him, good evening, and becomes full-blown COVID-19, there is every likelihood, because nowhere in the world has all of the ventilators it needs, and because if you develop COVID-19 and it goes and it becomes severe, and the elderly people and the people with compromised immune system, it quickly becomes severe, and that you require ventilation to help you breathe. And because I don't know, sitting down here tonight, how many ventilators there are in this country, so that if we have 25 ventilators, if we get to a 26 severe patient, we're in trouble. Well, not really we, that person, but if the 26 person, good evening, is a political financier, then the most expendable person currently on a ventilator, they're in trouble. And again, I'm making light of this. This is a very serious situation. So serious. This situation is so potentially devastating if we do it wrong. That we can't afford to mess this up. So for the people who think that this is not politics, for the first time in our entire existence, this one, normally if the government does shit and they're irresponsible and they're incompetent and they're corrupt, normally all that means is we lose money and they destroy the economy and we end up in financial difficulty. This one, if they mess up, you and people that are dear to you could die. This one's serious. The quality of your life is over. The life that you knew before is done. I mean, you read something, every interview that we send out anywhere, what makes Trinidad? Liming. Liming is illegal in Trinidad now. Prayer is now a personal thing. Congregating to pray is illegal in Trinidad and Tobago, which I find is wrong, because I would have put all of the COVID-19 patients in Pastor Coffee Church. And I would have deputized Trevor Sayers. And I put both of them in charge. Show the people that you wasn't bullshitting them all these years. But back on point. So Mr. Gentleman said to me that the rules were, and I think some of them signed a document of the 20,000 people, that you are to go home and self-isolate. Good evening. All is well? Enjoy your walk. Yes. Well, when this virus done. Yeah? Stay safe, huh? Stay strong. You see that guy? That guy and his little exchange there is why I am still in this blasted politics, because I have given these people something like hope. And I don't know how many people it is. And I can't let them down. This gentleman says some of them, I don't know how many, of the 20,000 signed a form promising to isolate themselves. And that they will go into immediate self-isolation for 14 days. Nicole Rahaman Winchester. Listen to this. How did all 20,000 of them get from the airport to wherever they live? How? And how is that isolation? All of the people that were in the vehicles with them, if it was just a driver, they potentially, if they were carrying COVID-19, coronavirus, they passed it to the driver. So 20,000 people passed the 20,000 drivers. We now have 40,000 people. And this before they even reach home. Did all 20,000 get a bottle of hand sanitizer when they left the airport, having been given this form to sign? So that when they got home and they opened the front door, they immediately sanitized the doorknob, so that anybody else in the home, coming home, unless all 20,000 of them are living alone. Because if all 20,000 of them are living alone and all 20,000 of them were somehow beamed from the airport to their houses, they'll be safe. But I asked the gentleman today, I said, what guarantee do I have that for the 14 days that you are potentially a carrier of coronavirus, what guarantee do I have that you've not met with, dealt with, infected anybody else? He said, my word as a gentleman, of course I have isolated myself. Now, I didn't ask him how he got home. I didn't want to be rude. He was my senior. And I didn't want to destroy his point, because he took the time to call me. And I get that people are afraid, and I get that people are frustrated, and I get that a lot of people lash out in fear and frustration, and I absorb a lot of that. I absorb it because I understand. So I didn't want to destroy his argument. I wanted to give him the rights to his feelings. But I said to him, sir, I absolutely believe you. But if 10% of the 20,000 people are not good and decent people like your good self, as is evident with Ian Alley, and each of those people, 2,000 people, went out into society, the potential for infection is multiplied exponentially. And that if we even tried now to do contact tracing of 2,000 people, and everybody they interface with, and everybody those people interface with, we would have to put the entire country in a box. So it's now impossible. And that's why I am upset. Because I am upset tonight that my fellow Trinbagonians didn't understand that the government has a responsibility to not mess this up. You say we're not cussing, eh? I use words like mess. That's not the word that locked and loaded in my head, you know, but I'm trying to keep this G-rated. Good night. Yeah. Enjoying the run?
Yeah.
But now they've pushed the last case because the last case now of coronavirus, COVID-19 in Trinidad, if we get everybody, because the police officers who are supposed to enforce the law, one of them tested positive for COVID-19. He's been in contact with no other police officer. He's not touched a doorknob. He's not written with a pen. He's not touched the tap in a bathroom. This guy was moving through the world without touching anybody. So no other police officers, if you are to believe the release from Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, that no other police officer came in contact with this officer, which is madness. Good evening. I have no water with me tonight. Even the officers of the law. And last night, I said to the government, if you want help, I'm willing to help. But even at this point, and I know I'm brilliant, I don't need affirmation. I know what I've accomplished in my life, and I know what I've already done with my life, and I know what I'm capable of doing. And if it wasn't for politics, Gary Griffith would tell you, I'd be part of the team now that he's commissioner of police, and we'd have gotten a lot more done. I know what I'm capable of doing. When it comes to time and motion, understanding, critical planning, capacities and capabilities, these are my strong suits. I understand things. People come to me to unravel knots. I have the ability, and you've heard it, those of you who know me, this is not a boast. Everybody knows that they have a skill set. There are people who could dance, people who could cook, people who could write, people who could sing. And this is what I have. And planning and execution. People ask, what would you have done if you were the Prime Minister and 20,000 people were outside of this country? We would have to have planned facilities that could hold people for 14 days, where we could take care of their meals and they could have something like a life, access to internet, they could be in touch with their families, no interaction with nobody for 14 days. Unfortunately, this is our new normal. They should want it. I told the gentleman today, I said, you are dutifully doing what you are responsible to do. But somebody named Ian didn't. And he was in touch with somebody who's going to be in touch with somebody else, who's going to pass it to a fourth person who might bring it in your house after you've done your part to make sure that you don't infect nobody. Infection come and find you because it wasn't done the way it should have been done. And that's the point. And that's the whole point. There's no politics here. We are all now in this. Get out and go where? If you run, normally 3 months ago, you could have said, you know what? To hell with this. I'm going somewhere else, anywhere else. But no. But I'll tell you this though. There are countries that are doing a much better job. I mean, they're not going to take you now. So we have to wait for the last case. And we're not going to get the last case if we keep passing COVID-19 around like a football. If we say we're going to self-isolate to break the transmission, that includes not bringing 20,000 potentially infected people into the country to detonate like a nuclear bomb. But that's what we did. And I understand your need to hide from the fright and the scare. I understand that. I understand. I too. Every day I come home. Some of you all know I have a little baby daughter. And from the time I open the door, she comes running. And I'm thinking, she's going to grab my legs. Did I put myself in any situation where she could be exposed? Because she can't understand that I can't touch her. So I have to kind of excuse myself quick and run and have a shower and come back to interact with her. And that is a normal. How to be playing with her mind, because my son grew up knowing as he see daddy. I'm upset. I'm upset because we need to get to the last case. Now, this will sound like a contradiction. But the Trinidadians who are in Margarita or in Barbados or wherever the Trinidadians are, we have a responsibility to bring them home. That is not open for question. When Stuart Young said he is closing the country, he is a madman. You don't have that right, regardless of the situation. What you are supposed to do is put situations, facilities in place. There are 35 people I've been told in Barbados. Commander a hotel. Cascadia Hotel, I heard that they were taking hospital beds there. I don't know how true that is. But Commander Hotel. Commander Holiday Inn Express across the road from the airport. Commander Bel Air Hotel, if that still exists, behind the airport. Commander Ibis Hotel, Jacona own it. Commander facilities like those. And create rooms for people to be able to quarantine for 14 days. Bring our people home, quarantine them for 14 days, administer the test, and if they are negative, allow them into the country. You can't stop people coming home. I never said stop the 20,000 people coming home. I said manage them, all 20,000 of them. Interfaced and interacted with vehicles to get home. Touch doors. Touch car seats. Somebody may have lifted their suitcase. Some of the 20,000 may have been wealthy people, and the driver lift your suitcase to take it into the car for you. He's now a point of contact. And we can't. There's no way to put that genie back in the bottle. And at this point, all of the lies are going to be exposed. Because if it is this contagious and we're that serious about it, then we should never have allowed 20,000 people to just walk into the country and go about their business. There are 20,000 ENLAs in this country that we are aware of, and stunting to block 35 people in Barbados. Cannot make politics out of this. The country deserves better. We deserve better. Rain is about to fall where I am, so I am going to wrap this up. But, Trinis, take the political sycophancy out of your mind and become citizens. This is a dangerous situation. People you care about could die stupidly from bad decisions that other people made. You need to care more about first one dead, first one from Cuba, first one from China, first one from this, Ian Allen live, Ian Allen dead. Stop focusing on bullshit. Focus on facts that affect your life, unites you positively. Focus on things that collectively, if we put our energy to it, the public servants from the president down, the prime minister, the minister of national security, they're all public servants. They would start to do their jobs. Less stunting. Ignore the media now. The media is playing games with us. And anyway, there'll be more to come. But don't ignore these things. And don't hide from the truth. Embrace the truth. Make sure that everybody who's talking to you understand that you are a bullshit-free zone. That all you're interested in is the truth. Save the nonsense politics, but don't end the politics. Politics, if we are to be saved, ultimately, politics is what it will take to save us. Yeah? Everything that you held on to before is gone. Family life, religion, socializing, partying, your job, your career, your goals, everything is gone. If you're single, you're stuck. Because it's no longer going outside there looking to meet somebody and date and hook up and get together. All of that is just danger zones. Danger now, everything. Human contact is death and danger. This is not, calling this a new normal is an understatement. This is a ridiculous time to be alive. And I don't know, now that we've made such a mess of it, you see, and I want to tell you, we could have proven a point to the planet. We could have isolated Tobago for 14 days from the 16th of March. Nothing in, nothing out. And if not one case developed in Tobago, because Tobago would have been a perfect test case. No boats, no planes, no ships, nobody. Tobago is Tobago. Make sure that they get their supplies. We would have been able to see and to show that it is possible to block this virus and break transmission. We missed that opportunity, and now Tobago has cases. And now we are finding out that nothing has been put in place in Tobago to protect Tobagonians. So, if you get it in Tobago, they're going to uproot you from your family and bring you across to Trinidad. Regardless of all of that, flattening the curve and breaking the transmission, the only reason now for you to be isolated, putting on masks, wearing gloves, covering yourself, soap, sanitizer, the only reason for you to be doing that is to protect yourself and your family. Don't let your little children end up in ambulance vans being taken to hospitals without you. That is where it could get. Your elders, isolate them. Tell them, shut it down. Tell your elders, shut it down. No, we do not know when we're going to get to the last case. But when we get to the last case, I want you alive. I want you here with me. And I know that we're wasting a lot of years, well, days, weeks, months. And I know that we're squandering time that we should be spending together. But let's use it still to survive. The only reason now to isolate yourself and self-quarantine is to protect yourself and your loved ones. Let that be your driving motive. Forget the curve and all the bullshit. Forget that. All the sanitizer, all the soap, all the 6-foot distance, all of it, use it to protect you and yours. And if all of us love our children and our parents and our spouses, if all of us have somebody in this world that we love, including ourselves, we get through this. I hope that whenever this ends, that there's a Trinidad for us to return to. We are destroying a broken economy. We are destroying it. The people who are operating Trinidad and Tobago right now made a shit of it under bright and promising circumstances, when the world was booming, the entire planet, I mean, this sounds like ancient history now, but for the past 4 years, the entire planet economy grew by 3 and 3.5%, while this country circled the toilet and lived in a calm-induced recession. Now, those same people are going to manage the economy and the pandemic. Think it through. Think it through. The people most likely to lose the most are the poor and those living in die-hard political communities. And to you I appeal, stop using your voice to defend political wrongdoing and governmental mismanagement, and start to use your voice to insist that those who have a job because of your vote do the job. Because if you don't and we don't, we're still all in this together. At the end of the day, what comes out of Trinidad and Tobago has nothing to do with Rowley and the Alsing and Stuart Young and Colm, and everything to do with us. Isolate, sacrifice, share, use the time to better yourself, take care of your people. Let's be ready for when the last case happens, that we could go forward positively as a nation. Let's be ready. Politically, don't make this mistake again. Don't ever make this mistake again. Don't ever sell your vote. Don't ever vote for expediency. Don't ever let people tell you, vote for me and I will do it better next time. If you didn't do it properly when I gave you the first opportunity, they have no second chance. Let us stop being victims of violence, and let us start being citizens of a republic, people who understand their responsibility to the democracy. Stand together and we could do this. We could fix this. We could get past this regardless of what Rowley and crew do. Yeah? Until tomorrow, stay safe. All of you, Trinidad and Tobago.